Hello everyone, my name is Shane. Today I want to talk about the similarities between ESPN SportsCenter and your resume. There's a lot of similarities if you think about it. Your resume is really just a highlight reel. So similar to SportsCenter, they're showing the touchdowns, they're showing the 40-yard runs, the 60-yard catches. You want to do the same thing on your resume. So some tips that I recommend are you really want to have some quantifiable achievements listed on your resume, where you've made money, where you've saved the company money, where you've helped to improve a process. So for example, if you had recommended a change in a process for month-end close and you were able to shave the time down from 10 days down to 5 days, well, it's a 50% reduction. Because let's face it, numbers don't lie. You want to think about what's going to get the hiring manager excited to want to see you, to bring you in to interview. That's the whole point of your resume, right? Is to get them excited to want to then have you come in person so that then they can ask like, hey, how'd you do this? Outside of that, the things that I would recommend are if you have advanced degrees and certifications, I would highly recommend adding those next to the top of your name. So for example, Susan, CPA, MBA, followed by I would have an executive summary, no more than 3 to 4 sentences that kind of highlights your overall background. And if you'd like, you can also add some bullet points that highlight your core technical skills, followed by your work experience and your education. Now, when you get into your work experience, you really want to focus in on the last 5, maybe 10 years tops of your work experience. If you've been working for 20, 30 years, it's not as relevant what you did 20 years ago. Folks are more concerned with what you've done recently. So you want to highlight those things. It's okay to, if you want to have those positions that you've held years ago and the title and stuff, but I wouldn't add any bullet points. Now, when it comes to the bullet points too, you want to remove any kind of redundancies. So for example, if you've been a staff accountant, a senior accountant, an accounting manager, assistant controller, and controller, you don't need to put month-end close and preparing financial statements and account reconciliations as bullet points for every single one of those positions. Just do it once. And then from there, add in whatever those quantifiable achievements are to kind of fill in the gaps. Outside of that, I guess the last thing I would leave you with is just remember the adage, less is more. Definitely don't have a resume that's more than 2 pages. I'll share one last story with you. So one of my old bosses, he was bringing some folks in to interview, and he was like, hey, Shane, do you mind grabbing that resume off the printer? I was like, yeah, no problem. So ran over and grabbed it. I looked down, and this thing's like 8 pages long. I bring it back to him, and he starts ripping it up, throws it away. He's like, man, I ain't got time to read that. So, just be aware, people are busy. You want the cliff notes, not the novel, right? With that said, appreciate your time. Please feel free to follow us at 4 Pillars Talent, where I'll be offering some more tips and tricks along the way for both hiring managers as well as candidates. Thank you so much. Have a great day.